Thank you very much for your patience, everyone. Beat it by the buzzer. Okay, how long was I? Okay, it's still 12 o'clock. All right, great. Welcome to yet another episode of Tech Art Talk Live, brought to you by TechArt EDU. And this is the 6.5 edition, the June 5th edition of Tech Art Live. So welcome very much and happy Friday. Now, last 2 weeks ago, we started working on the golden Tech Art rules, which are something very mystifying and wonderful, only unfounded by years and years and years of industry experience, but that is exactly what we're here to provide, is this kind of stuff. Now, last week we dealt with the green Tech Art rules, which are rules that supposedly going to make you into the green, which is a really, really good thing. But this week we're going to be doing something a little bit different, and we're going to start this week where last week left off. Okay, let me get things going here. Okay, there we go. All right, so there is our Tech Art Gold, but this is a little hint. We're talking about the pink stuff here. All right, great. So these are rules for a softer Tech Art mind. That's why it's pink. Okay, this is no disrespect intended, I promise you. Okay, so let's get going here. All right, so remember last week we were dealing with the ultimate green rule, which was you can be right or you can be rich. So it's your choice. In other words, asbestos underwear, which you're going to have to develop one way or the other, is green. And when you think about this statement, start really thinking about it. It's okay, you can be rich, cool, but you can be right. Okay, what does being right really mean? Okay, being really right is actually, it's a mental thought. It's a way of being. It's a way of process. And it's like not being right, that's not actually a green skill. That's actually a pink skill when you think about it, because maybe asbestos underwear is actually pink. All right, all you tech artists out there, I know who you are. You're all egomaniacs. I know it. I have yet to meet a tech artist who wasn't an egomaniac lurking underneath their skin, like something like Jekyll and Hyde. It's there. I know it is. Maybe just a little bit. You're doing a good job of hiding it, but I know that it's there. Okay. Okay. All about the being right and not being right. It's all about realistically dropping your ego and letting the other person win. Okay. Why? Is because your job as a tech artist is to do anything and everything that it takes, either to deliver your shot or to deliver your game assets on time. That is your thing. And if you're going to do anything and everything, well, then certainly dropping your ego and letting the other person win is definitely within that realm without really damaging your pride too much. For some people, it might be very damaging, but I promise you, with a little bit of practice, it's kind of like working out. You can get through and you can actually get strong with this. All right. So what are some other suggestions other than you can be right or you can be rich or you can be rich or you can be pink? Okay. This whole thing about being right and wrong. All right, this is a toughie, but remember this. Unless specifically requested, never, ever make anyone or your company wrong. Now, this is tough because no matter how wrong they are, you can't make them wrong. And do whatever you can. And now, occasionally, there is a rare occasion, they're going to go, okay, Chris, give us your full impression. How screwed up is this situation? Okay, that is your go-to time. That's when you can open the floodgates. Then you can tell them the truth. Until that happens, you keep it to yourself. You come up with some other way of breaking the bad news to them. And we're going to go into that a little bit. All right. There was another tech artist that I used to work with at a big old game company. Now, he started off as a junior level tech artist. And of the time I was there, he would never say anything. He would never stand up for himself. This tech artist would always let everyone kind of like walk all over him, would never stick up for himself. He'd always do whatever was taken. Okay, fast forward a few years. That tech artist is now my boss. I kid you not. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that when he was interacting with people, this tech artist was never wrong. That had a huge implication on how his career progressed. Because remember, one negative statement outdoes 100 attaboys. That means that you can be the most pleasant person in the world and you could be supporting everyone. You stand behind them. You swallow your bile. Bad things happen. You keep it under your skin. You've got too much to do. There's artists, they refuse to follow instructions. Their assets are all over their place. The assets are just all over their desktop. They are just littering the place. They can't find anything. No one can find their work. You were just unfairly blamed for who knows what. For the squirrel hitting the electrical power supply. You were just blamed for that. Okay. And then it slips out. Guess what? It's too late. The negative comment slips out. And guess what? You have just been labeled, you have a bad attitude. That's how it works, gang. Sorry, it's not. I didn't say it was fair, but avoid those negative statements at any costs because they are super duper expensive. Okay, well then, if you can't say anything and you got to and you can't make anyone wrong, how are you going to get anything done? Your job as a TA, you are a achiever. You are the guy, you're the gal who gets stuff done. Okay, questions are the TA's greatest tools. Okay, the groovy thing about questions is that they have a real difficult time in making anyone wrong. Questions always are kind of like open-ended, and when presented in a non-accusational way, things like who, what, where, when, and are really good. Do not use why. You see that I leave while out of there. Why often implies something else, so leave why out of the equation. Have you ever tried is also a really, really good method. It's like, have you ever tried this? What happens if you try that? Have you guys ever tried this? Have you ever tried that? You can steer your entire team into a direction that you need it to go just by asking, have you ever tried? And see, the beautiful thing about this is the questions, they help steer the conversation. It really does. And what's beautiful about them is that the questions help the people that you're talking with think that they created the solution. That's the awesome part of it. And getting the person that you're talking with, the group that you're talking with, making them believe that they came up with the solution is the number one rule for persuading. It's awesome. So get used to asking only questions. Even when you're upset, ask lots of questions. Ask, have you tried? That's such a beautiful go-to. Okay. This is crazy, but it's really not about you. There's a game to produce. There's a film to release. Okay, maybe it is about you being the superhero, being the Lara Croft, diving into the situation and saving the day. Quite often you got to adopt your Rambo underwear and jump in there and kill all the bad guys. It's really about making them, that means your company and your coworkers, making them right. You got to find some way of making them right. And you got to make them feel great about themselves. When you make the people feel great about themselves, then they feel great about their jobs. And you're going to love it. Okay, there's a tech artist in my life who is very, very close to me. And this tech artist, whenever they dealt with anyone else, the people went away always feeling really good. Now, this person was eventually labeled as the Velvet Gauntlet because this person was so pleasant and so pleasing to be around that whenever this TA reprimanded everyone or kind of got the team to move around and change things because all hell was breaking loose, people would go away from the meeting going, gosh, I think we just got our butts handed to us. But, I feel good about it. That's the serious. Okay, what should be going on inside of your head is this internal question. Is what am I doing at this specific moment in time to make them look good? Everything that you do, everything you say should be about making the other person look really good. What are you doing to make them look good? And a super awesome strategy for doing just that is always under promise and over deliver. All right. It's awesome on so many ways. It's really hard. I don't know if we have enough time to go into all. But just forget about the opposite. The opposite is really inconceivable. Don't even bother going into the opposite of, I'm not even going to say doing the opposite. Under promising. It makes you look humble. It makes you look pragmatic. It makes you look realistically. It makes you look like a team player. It makes you look like you're there to help and support everyone. You're getting the MVP, the minimal viable product, out the door. This is what people love. Producers love this. They want to get done with good. But in your head, you're already strategizing. How can I over deliver? Oh, this is what's really good. So once again, it not only makes you look like a good, subservient, humble person who's going to support the team, of which you are anyway, but under promising makes you look that good. And then when you over deliver, guess what? It doesn't make you look good. It makes your leads and your supervisors and your bosses look good to their bosses. That's it, gang. This is the ultimate thing. When you make your leads and your supervisors look good to their bosses, they're going to love you for it. They're going to come to you every time. They're going to, because you are there to make them look good, and they know it. So under promising and over delivering is a fantastic base strategy. Okay, here's the Uber TA rule. This is the foundation. If you can't do anything else, do this. Be a yes if person, so that 100 times a day, people are going to come up to you a day and say, "Tech artist, can we do this? Tech artist, can we do that?" And you just realized, that they just asked you to go to the moon and back, but really you only have the assets to kind of like build a little cardboard space shuttle and maybe some scissors and some tape to put it all together. Your job as a tech artist is that you are being paid good money to come up with lots and lots of solutions. So if you are saying yes if, so where are the solutions to all these problems? So you should have tons and tons of solutions. There's always more opportunities out there. So bring them to them. They love the opportunities. They love the suggestions. Once again, it puts them in charge. Never, ever, ever, and this is really tough, gang, be a no because person. And sometimes it just feels so good when you're in a meeting and you're really pissed off. There's fires raging and you're just upset with the world and you're just hating life. And they say, well, can we do this? And it's just absurd. Once again, they've asked you to go to the moon, and they've given you a G.I. Joe and some cardboard in order to do it. So can we go to the moon? And it just feels so good to say, nope, forget it. Guess what? Avoid doing just that. From first-hand experience, just please avoid doing that. Once again, when you become a no because person, you develop the bad reputation. You get your bad attitude. You want to avoid being a bad attitude, because a tech artist ultimately is a person that works with the other artists, and one way or the other, unless you're the tech artist who is assigned the world's hardest problem, and they sequester you to the basement, and they keep throwing you Cheetos and Pepsi and say, don't come out until the problem is done, you're going to have to be a yes if person. Because guess what? Yes, I know that certain programmers and certain producers, this is quite okay. But for TAs, it's not allowed. You can't be a no because person. In fact, while you're at it, just get rid of no out of your vocabulary altogether. And just get rid of it altogether. So just replace no with just all of the possible alternatives that you can find. Every single option, every single ability. ask more questions. And then when you ask more questions, you come up with all of these great ideas. Some of them are good ideas. Some of them are bad ideas. A lot of the time, they won't even know that they're bad ideas. This is the crazy part. But give them lots of choices because it makes them feel like they're in charge. And this is going to be coming at you. And so when you're empowering people, you're putting them in power. You're putting them in charge. There's going to be a lot of promises. So get in. In fact, there's so many promises floating around in here that you got to do something. And this is the technique what you got to do in order to keep your career going steadily. Is that there are so many possible. Don't even bother trying to remember all the processes. It's just too much. If you end up focusing, it's kind of like lies. Lies are really difficult to keep track of because there's too many to remember, and promises are the same way. So don't even bother trying to remember the promises. Instead, as soon as you can, over communicate. That means, in other words, get it in writing before you or anyone else forgets. Follow up every hallway conversation, every waterside chat with an email. Don't do a text. Don't do an Instagram. Don't do a Facebook. Don't do an instant messenger. Create an email. Why do we do emails? Is because emails are easily recorded and emails are easily filed, and emails are easily recalled and found again, and you can use metadata in order to sort them all, and they just work really well. That all those other formats, they might be good for temporary purposes, but they don't save your ass in the long run. And because never assume that people understand. They will nod their heads and go, uh-huh. And it's not until you send them that email that they realize, well, maybe there wasn't so much of a good understanding. Don't get disheartened. That's a great situation. That is a place you want to be. You say, okay, cool. They really didn't understand the situation. You march over to their office, go and talk to them at their cubicle, really work it out with them, because that's how you really want to do. And as soon as you've had this kind of like course, guess what? As soon as you send out the email, you guessed it, have another conversation with them, just to kind of cement things in place. These are really important. There was an artist. He wasn't really a tech artist, but I think he's a tech artist now, or maybe a CG supervisor that I used to work with. And this guy was always talking to people. And, he had the reputation of that when he was driving home, he'd go through every person in his team and have a quick conversation with them. And they would just go over what they discussed over the day. And he'd just contact people every way. Whenever he was away, he'd be on the phone contacting and talking to people in person. And that was just to kind of reconfirm and re-go over all of what was communicated over the day. I used to think it was a waste of time until I found myself on the unemployment side, and this person is now like king of the world in this company. He's still with his company, and this company will give him anything he wants. They love him. They will just do whatever they can to make this guy happy and do whatever they can to prevent him from leaving. This is, that's like I said, this is how careers are made. Because remember this, all companies are social organizations. And unless you are as good as you really think you are, so hey, let's be honest, we all think, we're Rambo and Laura Croft wrapped up in a thumbnail. But let's be honest, sometimes we have our shortcomings. But guess what? Unless you really are as good as you think you are, and if you are, then you probably own the company then. But if you don't own the company, and unless you are as good as you really think you are, companies are impatient, and honestly, they just don't care. Because guess what? This affects everyone at Florida. Florida is an at-will state, which means is that if they find an alternative, like, okay, they've got this cranky tech artist who has a zillion years of experience, but they've got a bad attitude, and they've got someone coming out of school who's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and maybe fun to be around, guess what? They'll just say, let's get rid of this crotchety old fart of a tech artist and take on this bright-eyed, bushy-tailed kid out of school. And guess what? The company has just replaced you with no justification other than, this other person might be more fun. Guess what? Florida, being an at-will state, has that opportunity. So beware of that. And honestly, companies really just, they don't care. All right. So next week, all right, yeah, here's our stuff. But all things set aside, I hope you're able to take the set of rules that I delivered today and take them to heart. Because even though these are the pink rules, honestly, this is what contributes to the three golden rules. Of course, you're going to go do it. Of course, you're going to get your work done. Of course, you're going to deliver, and of course, you're going to be office. But when it comes to being happy and being fun to be around, these pink rules are the rules that really set your career and they get it going. And next week, we are going to be talking about the rainbow rules, which are obviously a lot of the rules and regulations that I've noticed that really help make a career, but they have troubles falling into the gold, the green, or the pink area. All right, please go ahead, send me your requests. Go ahead and check out the Tech Art Live page over on Facebook. Go ahead, please like the page, join the page. Go ahead and click on the subscribe at the my YouTube channel. That's the Chris Rhoda YouTube channel. And then tell me what you want to know. If there's any topics that you think would be a good Tech Art Talk Live conversation, please go ahead and tell me. I love hearing them. Hearing what you guys want really helps motivate me what I can do to help you guys. And that's what I'm here to help you guys the best way I can. So please go ahead and contact me, Chris at techartedu.com, and send me your requests. All right. And that's all I wanted to cover this week. Thank you very much for your time. Have a great weekend, and I will see all of you folks on next Friday. Arrivederci. Bye.